Good evening and thank you very much for watching Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a productive Sunday. Now here's a sneak peek of our edition tonight. Political analysts and governance experts say the establishment of Rwanda's government of national unity marked the beginning of comprehensive reforms in state institutions and the implementation of policies founded on national unity. 120 students who emerged among the best performers in a national English speaking and public speaking competition have been rewarded for their outstanding skills. And on the international scene, humanoid robots and robotic dogs took center stage at the 2026 World Artificial Intelligence Conference in Shanghai over the weekend, showcasing China's latest advances in robotics and embodied AI. We're glad to have your company straight from Kigali, Rwanda. My name is Enora Gladys Awatoni. Now let's kick off. Political analysts and governance experts say the establishment of Rwanda's government of national unity marked the beginning of comprehensive reforms in state institutions and the implementation of policies founded on national unity, reconciliation, good governance, and development principles that have remained the pillars of Rwanda's progress over the past 32 years. Adam Squizera kicks off tonight.
On this day, July 19th, 1994, Rwanda established the government of national unity. It was a defining moment for a country emerging from the genocide against Tutsi, with virtually every institution and public service needing to be rebuilt from scratch. One of the members of the first government of national unity was Ambassador Joseph Nsengimana, who served as the country's first Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research. The government was established in accordance with the provisions of the Arusha Peace Agreement. Politicians from parties that had not participated in the genocide against Tutsi were appointed to government positions and served voluntarily with the common goal of recovering the nation. Among the political parties represented in the government of national unity was MDR. However, due to the party's extremist tendencies and the conduct of some its members, MDR was dissolved in 2003 and removed from the list of legally recognized political parties in Rwanda, as well as from the government. One of the greatest challenges facing the government of national unity was the insurgency carried out by infiltrators composed largely of defeated former government forces and individuals responsible for the genocide against Tutsi, who later organized under the Parallel Armed Group and launched attacks against Rwanda coming from what was then Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo. Ambassador Joseph Nsengimana explains that these security challenges also created divisions within the government at the time. The establishment of the government of national unity also marked the beginning of wide-ranging institutional reforms and the implementation of national policies that have shaped modern Rwanda, according to governance and political analysts. This view is shared by Julien Ouattara, who served in various leadership positions. Says that without the governance model established by the government of national unity, Rwanda would likely remain trapped in instability and underdevelopment. 32 years after the formation of Rwanda's first post-liberation government, the country has continued its journey towards sustainable development. These 3 decades demonstrate that Rwanda's achievements have been built on effective leadership, national unity, and the active participation of its citizens in rebuilding the nation. At the same time, the future calls for continued commitment to protecting these achievements and building on the legacy left by those who laid foundations of Rwanda's recovery under the government of national unity.
120 students who emerged among the best performers in a national English speaking and public speaking competition have been rewarded for their outstanding skills. The top 30 will receive an opportunity to spend 2 weeks in the United Kingdom to improve their language proficiency, while all finalists will have their school fees covered for 1 academic year. William Evans Mutabazi kicks off tonight.
The National Oratory Competition, which promotes English communication and public speaking skills among students, concluded this Sunday after months of competition across schools nationwide. The competition began in May, involving students from public schools and government-aided schools across the country before the best 120 advanced to the national level. At BK Arena, the finalists celebrated the achievement alongside their parents. The 120 students were drawn from both lower and upper secondary schools, with 60 students from each category. All finalists received support covering their school fees for one academic year, while the top 30 performers earned an additional opportunity to travel to the United Kingdom for 2 weeks of language and communication training. The students say the recognition has motivated them to continue improving their communication skills.
To me, being amongst the top 30, but especially the first in today's competition, it's an honor. The journey was long. We came from a school level, we went on to a sector level and a district level. We met a lot of good competitors. But to me, what it does mean to be the first is it has taught me that my practice never failed me. And being the first is something I'm going to be proud to show to what I can call my little sisters, because I go to Lycée Notre Dame de Citeaux, and show them that there is an importance or a strength in knowing the language of English. To show them that all you need to do is practice and practice hard, and especially believe in yourself, and know that as long as you put your heart to something, you can achieve. And English will be something that we can use in our future lives to gain a lot of opportunities and be better people for our country and for our families and our friends.
That's a privilege, and that's good to me, and it's actually essential to my life, because depending on the journey that I passed through to reach here, it was hard, but then also it's meaningful to me because I'm going to be exposed to international, where I will be getting more knowledge, but then also where I will be obtaining more experience as well as I can speak English fluently.
Education Minister Dr. Joseph Nsengimana says that the competition will become an annual program aimed at strengthening English proficiency and contributing to improved education quality.
The Orator program is intended to create some incentive motivation among the students so that they put effort in learning English. As you know, English is the language of instruction here in Rwanda. So it's imperative that students master the language, because it's not just the language itself, but it's the way in which they're going to learn all subjects. So it's very important that they actually understand the language and they become better at the language. So this program is intended to catalyze the movement. And we hope that we're going to build on top of this program so that in the coming year, we have these type of programs, be it through English clubs, be it through competitions such as iDebate and so on and so forth, to make sure that our students are actually improving their English. And this is a companion to the program that we have with teachers. Our teachers are all going through the programs to improve their English proficiency. So we want not only for teachers to improve their English proficiency, but the students as well. So coupled, the two programs are going to help us improve English proficiency among our learners and our teachers.
The 2026 edition of Ethnologue, a platform that tracks global language data, estimates that more than 1.5 billion people speak English across 188 countries, making it the most widely spoken language in the world.
Now moving on with more news ahead, Rwanda says it has made significant progress towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, particularly in reducing poverty and expanding access to healthcare. However, the government estimates it will need investment equivalent to 12 to 21% of GDP annually to fully meet the 2030 targets. William Evans Mutabazi kicks off again.
Rwanda has submitted its third voluntary national review to the United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development, outlining the country's progress in implementing the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The 170-page report highlights notable gains in poverty reduction, healthcare, urban development, and industrial growth, while acknowledging the financing gap that remains. According to the report, Rwanda reduced its national poverty rate from 39.8% in 2017 to 27.4% in 2024, reflecting improvements in household income and living standards. Residents and business owners say they have witnessed growing purchasing power compared to previous years. At the market, things became more expensive due to the war in the Middle East, but usually we do not have market price issues. Despite the progress, Rwanda estimates that achieving all the SDGs by 2030 will require annual financing equivalent to 12 to 13% of the country's gross domestic product. Current financing stands at about 80% of the GDP, leaving a significant investment gap. National Bank of Rwanda Governor Solaya Hakuziyaremye says sustaining economic growth while strengthening food security and protecting vulnerable households will be critical to closing that gap.
And as external concessional financing becomes more constrained, policy must remain focused on protecting the most vulnerable households through well-targeted and time-bound interventions, while strengthening food security system to cushion the impact of price shocks. Rwanda's growth ambitions remain strong, but unlocking them will require sustained structural reform, improvements in governance, regulatory efficiency, and the ease of doing business. Those are critical to enhancing productivity and attracting private investment. And I must say it's easier said than done when we look at the environment we're currently working in. But these reforms represent a clear opportunity to unlock a reform dividend that can support higher, more inclusive growth over the medium term.
The report also highlights progress under SDG 9, which focuses on industry, innovation and infrastructure. Rwanda says continued industrial growth has created more employment opportunities, with workers reporting improved livelihoods.
We are grateful to the President for believing in women in government of unity. We are able to work as hard for personal growth.
This has also helped us get jobs. When we get good employment, it helps us develop at a personal level. On SDG 3, which promotes good health and well-being, Rwanda points to extended immunization programs, improved HIV prevention and treatment, lower maternal and child mortality, and wider access to health services across the country. Public health expert Dr. Antoine Muyombano says that while important milestones have been achieved, continued investment will be needed to sustain the gains. The government has made good progress in this area, and we are also working harder so that medical assistance is accessible both in distance and access to good care, and also in awareness so that we can prevent some of the diseases. The report also notes steady progress in urbanization. The share of Rwanda's population living in urban areas increased to 28.4% in 2024, up from 18.4% in 2016-2017, while 60% of the rural population now lives in planned settlements. Economist John Bosco Karisa says that Rwanda is among the African countries experiencing one of the fastest rates of planned urban growth.
One of the components is infrastructure development, which is very critical for our sustainable growth and development. You can see that the infrastructure access and infrastructure development is exciting across the whole country. The roads, electricity access, almost 83% of Rwandans have access to electricity, have access to safe drinking water. So it is very paramount.
The World Health Organization also commended Rwanda's efforts to expand affordable health care coverage. World Health Organization representative to Rwanda, Dr. Brian Chilombo, says that the country's health financing model has helped protect many families from catastrophic medical expenses, a challenge that continues to affect hundreds of millions of people across Africa.
Here in Rwanda, a country that exemplifies strong political commitment to financial protection and universal health coverage. Through its community health insurance system and its sustained investment in primary health care, Rwanda has made remarkable progress in expanding coverage and at the same time reducing financial barriers to care. The vast majority of Rwandans in this country are now covered by health insurance. And out-of-pocket costs have fallen to some of the lowest levels in our continent, while use of essential health services has increased significantly. These achievements provide important lessons for our continent, where we know many countries are actually going down in terms of coverage, in terms of financial protection.
Rwanda's 2026 review follows similar reports presented in 2019 and 2023 as countries continue reporting on progress towards achieving the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals.
Residents living in sectors bordering Nyungwe National Park in Nyaruguru district say the absence of an entrance or access road into the park from their district prevents tourists from reaching Nyaruguru, limiting opportunities to promote local businesses and tourism activities. They are calling for the establishment of an access route that would enable both tourists and residents to enter the park through Nyaruguru district, where 5 sectors share a boundary with the Nyungwe National Park. We do have the details.
Nyungwe National Park was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2023 in recognition of its outstanding biodiversity. The park is home to one of Africa's oldest mountain rainforests, rare wildlife and plant species, as well as numerous bird and primate species found in only a few places around the world. Currently, visitors traveling from Rwanda's southern province can only access the park through Nyamagabe district, as there is no official entrance from Nyaruguru district. Residents say this represents a missed economic opportunity for communities living near the park and for entrepreneurs operating in the area. They are appealing for construction of access roads and supporting infrastructure that would allow both tourists and local residents to enter the park through Nyaruguru district. The district is already a popular destination for religious tourism, attracting pilgrims visiting the Holy Land of Kibeho. The mayor of Nyaruguru district, Dr. Emmanuel Murwanashyaka, says plans to establish access routes into Nyungwe have been developed as part of a broader strategy that also includes tourism infrastructure. The initiative is being implemented in partnership with the Rwanda Development Board, Nyungwe National Park Management, and the district authorities.
These projects are already in place and are being implemented. We also have planned a route that will connect Gisego to Karongi, so it is not that these ideas have not been considered.
The park manager of Nyungwe National Park, Proteni Igaba, says a feasibility study has already been completed for a long hiking trail that will pass through several sections of Nyungwe forests with the aim of enhancing the park's tourism experience.
Nyaruguru has been included on this plan. The project involves the first and longest hiking trail in Rwanda's national parks. It stretches approximately 110 kilometers from Nyaruguru district to Karongi district, following the mountain ridge that separates the Nile and Congo River basins. The trail is designed primarily for adventure tourists who enjoy long-distance hiking through forests and mountains, and will help position Nyungwe as one of the world's leading ecotourism destinations.
Out of the 14 sectors that make up Nyaruguru district, 5 border Nyungwe National Park. According to park management, the number of visitors has continued to increase over the years. The park received 22,435 visitors in 2022, 24,726 in 2023, and nearly 30,000 visitors in 2024. In 2024, Rwanda earned $647 million from tourism, representing a 4.3% increase compared to 2023. In 2023, Nyungwe National Park generated $1.77 million in tourism revenue. During the 2025-2026 fiscal year, more than 1.2 billion Rwandan francs in tourism revenue sharing funds was allocated to communities living around Nyungwe National Park, excluding compensation paid to residents whose property was damaged by wildlife.
Some fruit growers, particularly chili pepper farmers, say they continue to struggle to find reliable markets for their produce. They say they are often forced to sell to middlemen at low prices. Meanwhile, authorities in Gakenke district are encouraging farmers to use agricultural collection centers to improve market access. We do have the details.
Farmers growing fruits, especially chili peppers and tree tomatoes, say one of their biggest challenges is obtaining quality planting seeds. Besides the shortage of seeds, they explain that they often exchange seeds among themselves. While they are able to produce good harvests, they face difficulties in finding profitable markets once the crops are ready for sale. Agronomists in Gakenke district say farmers who are organized into cooperatives or producer groups have easier access to certified seeds as well as better market opportunities. The district agronomist in charge of export-oriented cash crops explains that chili pepper farmers in particular often work under contract farming arrangements, where partners help provide quality seeds and guarantee markets for their produce. Most farmers engaged in chili pepper and other food production are already organized into groups. The vice mayor in charge of economic development in Gakenke district says agricultural collection centers play a key role in connecting farmers to buyers and improving access to markets. Currently, Gakenke district has more than 3,500 farmers cultivating various fruit crops. Among them are 3,212 chili pepper farmers organized into more than 17 farmer groups, enabling them to improve production and strengthen their market opportunities.
Health experts are urging young people to undergo regular screening for non-communicable diseases, warning that conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease are increasingly affecting young age groups due to unhealthy diets and physical inactivity. William Evans Mutabazi kicks off the story.
Non-communicable diseases, including heart diseases, diabetes, and hypertension, remain among the leading causes of death worldwide. While these illnesses have traditionally been associated with older adults, health professionals say they are becoming increasingly common among young people. Many young Rwandans acknowledge the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle through regular exercise and following medical advice to reduce their risk.
We should allow follow-up with medical advice and maybe try to do check-up quite regularly.
We should avoid a lot of sugary and fatty foods and also try to exercise regularly. Medical specialists attribute the growing number of cases among young adults to poor eating habits, sedentary lifestyles, and other preventable risk factors.
The reasons for the rise in non-communicable diseases among young people are quite many. For diabetes, it could be passed down to children from their parents. Diabetic cases are one of the increase among adults, and it's the case among young people. Young people suffer what is known as type 1. This affects people under 30 years. We also have a number of cases in hypertension, even when I cannot say it has increased. Young people usually suffer what we call secondary hypertension.
They stress that adopting healthier lifestyles early can significantly reduce the likelihood of developing these conditions later in life.
Firstly, it's about eating healthy. Have a lot of fruits and take a lot of water. It is also important that young people avoid overly oily foods. They should also avoid sugary foods and drinks as much as possible and alcohol. They should avoid smoking and try as much as possible to exercise regularly, at least 30 minutes every day. Even without signs and symptoms, they should do regular checkups after 3 or 6 months.
Doctors also warn that an increasing number of patients aged between 20 and 40 are being diagnosed with non-communicable diseases. They are encouraging young people not to wait until severe symptoms appear, but to seek routine health checkups to detect potential health problems early enough and when treatment is most effective.
And now that wraps up today's English News Bulletin on Rwanda Television. My name is Enora Gladys. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for watching. Have a good night and stay safe.